Rated M for mature.
Time to move on.
The slightest pressure on the trigger, and it was good night, Major General.
My name's Spyropoulos. I am a senior game designer here at Rebellion. I've been with the company for 17 years at this point, so I've done a little bit of everything. What does Sniper Elite mean to me? It's a very special franchise to me because it's something I've been working on for like half my career at this point. As a series, it's very much in the realm of sort of like timeless games, I feel. We are able to maintain this World War II mentality and gameplay without that sort of having to delve too far into like the fantastical side of things that you might see in some other titles. We've jokingly called it in the past the thinking player's shooter, and I think that harkens back to an older time of shooters that were a little bit more slower paced and interesting to actually sort of delve into rather than just run and gun constantly. There are three core pillars that have been core to the experience since the start of the series, and those have largely not changed, which are deep and involved sniping, meaningful stealth, and choice and consequence. So the deep and involved sniping, this involves all manner of ballistics related mechanics such as gravity, taking into account wind. When you're going to hit a target, you've got to worry about what the surface strength is, if it's going to penetrate. All of this combined with bullet travel and whether or not your target is going to hear the shot before it hits. And then on top of that, all the other mechanics such as being able to shoot local objects in the environment, to trigger traps or to lure enemies into new situations where you can actually deal with them in interesting ways. That sort of thing really bolsters the gameplay for Sniper. Then you've got, in addition to that, you have the meaningful stealth aspect. One of the things about Sniper Elite as a game is that if you break stealth, you break stealth. It's you've got to actually properly go out of your way to try and sort of reel it back in if things go awry. And that sort of means that you really do have to, be careful about what you're doing at every moment, because the worst thing you want to do is walk into a group of enemies, alert them, and then have to engage in a firefight because Carl might be good, but he's not a superhero. Then lastly, we've got the choice and consequence, which has always been a big thing. We want players to feel like their actions matter in the world. So you're worried about whether or not your shots will ring out and lure enemies towards you. You'll be worried about if you shoot a target who's too far away and you can't hide the body, what's going to happen. Then you've got whether or not you can shoot a vehicle to disable it before it can bring reinforcements into the area. All of these things go together to sort of make an experience that is unique to Sniper. The Sniper Elite gameplay has changed over time based on feedback from the community. We basically take all the feedback that we receive, we don't ignore things, we collate it, we discuss it amongst the team, and usually what tends to happen is we will boil it down into like core areas that we feel need improvements or changes, and then those will then get assigned out to a particular team to look into. I personally have worked on a lot of the multiplayer, so we've looked into things like trying to improve the scoring to make it less sort of less based on run and gun gameplay. We heard a lot of feedback from the community about your shots not counting and stuff in previous games, so we sort of went back and looked at a way to create a scoring system that would reward you for playing as a sniper while not so much punishing, but not rewarding as much people who would run around like a maniac with a machine gun. In my opinion, what makes a great Sniper Elite moment is when those three core pillars all come together. When you enter an area, you're being as stealthy as you can, moving through, trying to avoid enemies as best you can, getting up into like a good vantage point. You're reconning the area, you know where all the patrol paths are, you know what the enemies are actually sort of doing in that location, and then you line up your shot, take into account all of those factors, the gravity, the wind, and then you fire that shot, you get that amazing bullet cam sequence, and then it all goes to hell. It's a absolutely fantastic experience when you then have to react to suddenly the entire encounter shifts based on just like maybe one thing that you've forgotten, or one thing that you've done intentionally to maybe lure enemies round to a trap that you've placed. I would just say to everyone who's played Sniper Elite over the years, thank you. It's so amazing to see how people react to our games and what we do.
Hey, my name is Beck. I am the lead level designer here at Rebellion. I've been here for 10 years now. I first started out here on Sniper Elite 4, where I worked on the Viaduct mission and also a couple of the DLC missions. From there I went on to Zombie Army 4 and then Sniper Elite 5, where I worked on the first mission doing the tutorial area, but also some other bits, and I started transitioning into a lead role there, and since then I've been lead. Did a bit of work on Sniper Elite Resistance as well. Sniper Elite means quite a lot to me. It's one of the first shooters I worked on in the industry. Before that I was working on racing games, but shooters is where I wanted to be, and I had the opportunity to come and join Rebellion, work on Sniper Elite 4. I joined mid-production but took on the task of the Viaduct level, as I previously mentioned, and I had a blast working on that. From there I've worked on multiple shooters here at Rebellion, and I've grown my career over time, so as I mentioned I'm a lead now. I started off as just a mid-level level designer. I love my job here, and Sniper Elite started my career here at Rebellion, and long may it continue. So I think one of the levels I'm particularly proud of from my time at Sniper Elite is definitely Viaduct from Sniper Elite 4. It's a bit of a fan favourite, but also it's close to my heart because it's the first level I worked on here at Rebellion whilst working on Sniper Elite. I just love the opening vista. You get to see that huge viaduct at the back with the railway gun firing. You just need to, you know what your target is, you need to go and take it out. Well, obviously during my time here I've worked on multiple missions, and as a lead I do get oversight on many missions, and the team we've got here at Rebellion, they're a super great team. All the level designers are great, and I think having a bit of a part helping craft or guide some of these level designers in their missions to create some awesome levels for you guys is very special. All the levels are great in my eyes. I guess that's a political answer, but yeah. I think Viaduct is probably one that's closest to my heart. So obviously crafting a awesome vantage point, it takes a lot of different systems and ideas from level designers. We obviously start with the level. We look around and try and find out, where are the key points we want players to go. We probably want vantage points in those locations because it's going to draw players to those locations. So we look at those locations, get some high points in there, but we also need to think about the enemies. How do enemies react if players are in this high vantage point but taking shots? The enemies might not be able to reach them too easily, so we do need to craft in multiple routes so enemies can flank you or advance on you, but also so you can get out of dodge if things start getting a bit hairy. But yeah, we do need to take into account obviously things like performance. We're in high locations, so we can render a lot of the level. We need to make sure we're keeping the game performant, hitting those nice frame rates, keeping the game smooth. We also want to make sure that there's a lot of nice enemies placed in various locations throughout the level. Some of these might be freebie kills. We might just place a guy on a perch. He might just walk into a shot as you get into his vantage point. We want to make sure that we have some cool bullet cams that can be triggered from these locations. You know, they might fly through some trees or go through a tunnel. They get some nice visuals there going on. So also when crafting a vantage point, we do have to take into account things like multiplayer. We don't want players to be too powerful in any location. We want enemies to be able to reach you but also counter-snipe you. So if we've got a vantage point here, we want another one or two that can see that point and counter it. We want to make sure players have a good time in all the game modes, so invasion mode, AMP, campaign. We want to make sure gameplay is fair but also challenging. So yeah, these vantage points, whilst they are very powerful, we do need to make sure that you aren't too powerful yourself in any of these locations. So when we're designing the level, we do look at real-world World War II battles, but also locations where those battles might have taken place. Obviously, we can't craft an entire country for players to play in. So we do take key landmarks from different locations and kind of meld them into one big level. And then we take inspiration from real-world operations where there might have been opportunities for Carl to potentially, maybe he got involved with this operation. Obviously, it never happened because Carl is not a real person. We bend history a little bit to kind of meld it into our narrative so it works with our levels. Obviously it'd be great if we could craft an entire country, but we do need to keep in mind that we only have a limited amount of time to create some of these levels.
Hi, my name's Simon and I'm a lead environment artist at Rebellion. I've been with the company for just over 19 years now and I have worked on multiple Sniper Elite and Zombie Army titles. So what does Sniper Elite mean to me? I've worked on multiple sniper titles. The first one I had the pleasure to take part in was Sniper Elite 3. At that point I was an environment artist and I worked on the Tobruk and Kill Hitler missions. Since then I've worked on Snipers 4 and 5 as a lead environment artist, where I've had the pleasure to lead a talented team of environment artists who build all the levels that you, the fans, get to experience. I think my favourite level from Sniper Elite 5 is Spy Academy, which is based on a real-world location called Mont Saint-Michel in France. We had a location trip there where we got to visit the environment, move around it, experience it, and that really helped the artist who built it. So how's Sniper Elite's visual style evolved over the years? With Sniper Elite 4, we made the decision to build a face scanning rig that allowed us to capture actors' faces and a lot of developer faces as well, who we included in the game. So that was our first foray into photogrammetry. With Sniper Elite 5, we fully embraced photogrammetry, setting up our own internal photogrammetry department and sending them out on trips to scan different locations around France, capture lots of different assets that they then brought back and the environment team was able to use to populate and create the levels of Sniper Elite 5. Embracing photogrammetry has allowed us to maintain a more consistent visual tone throughout Sniper Elite 5, and it's something that we are looking to take forward into the rest of our games. We know the community appreciate the historical accuracy and authenticity we put into the Sniper Elite series. To push that further with Sniper 5, we sent a small team of environment artists and level designers to northern France to experience the locale for themselves. This greatly helped to inform the process of creating the worlds that you, the players, experience. While we strive to make the environments as historically accurate as possible, we of course need to balance gameplay design versus the art. For me, Spy Academy captures the essence of Sniper Elite really well. You have these fantastic long shots that are almost 2 kilometers in length, and you have the cat and mouse gameplay of stalking your kill list targets through the environment that is really compelling. The historical accuracy of Guernsey is another point as well. We spent a lot of time researching that, going on trips, picking the location, and just trying to replicate that as best as we possibly could for you. Sniper Elite stories are often inspired by real historical events. Once we have the story in place, we look to find the locations that the story will take place in. Once we've decided those, we'll send teams out to different locations. We find it helps them build the environments if they can experience them for themselves. In the case of the Guernsey mission for Sniper Elite 5, we had multiple visits there, and we also did some aerial photogrammetry that allowed us to capture portions of the island that we were able to bring into our engine and use as the basis for the actual Guernsey mission. I'd like to thank the Sniper Elite community for all their help and support over the years. Thank you for playing our games.
Hi there, I'm Nick D. Brewer and I'm the head of audio at Rebellion. So I started at this company 20 years ago. I think the original Sniper Elite game had been out for just a couple of weeks by that point. In fact, I think I joined on the day that was their kind of wrap launch party. So being a 22-year-old, fresh to the industry, I was absolutely scared shitless. And the great thing was everyone was really proud of that game and they were playing it on their lunch breaks, mainly the multiplayer deathmatch. So there was a great experience for me kind of learning about that game and bonding with the new people I was working with by shooting them in the face. I'm proud on everything that we've done on this entire franchise. It's been a great experience for me. I've worked with loads of amazing people in-house, as well as some great talent who we've brought in. Actors like Tom Clark Hill, Wolf Carla, just to name but a few. Probably my favorite thing though to date is Sniper Elite becoming a meme. I'm thinking of the headshot meme, scary skeleton face, bullet approaching it. I think once you become a meme, that's the coolest thing, right? You can die happy with a bullet in your face. So, much like the gameplay, we want to reward the player for actually spending some time sneaking around, creeping, crawling, not just running and gunning. We try and do the same with the audio, right? We'll spend a really, really long time creating those different environments, making sure that every brook babbles, every wooden beam creaks, every bush rustles, just to really reward the player for spending their time sneaking through before they actually engage in any action and provoke more noise that way. So one thing I found working on Sniper Elite all this time is we've always strived for realism. We've been kind of making it as period accurate as possible, as World War II accurate as possible. Every country as accurate as possible, every voice as accurate as possible, every sound we can hear as realistic as we can make it. But it's a video game, so we've got to kind of tie in all of those video game aesthetics, stuff that we feed to the player that Carl himself doesn't hear. I'm thinking of all of your HUD pop-ups, all bits and pieces like that. We can't just shove a series of gamey beeps and boops in it. We need to make sure those sounds still tie into that realistic palette. So over that time, we've been riding that line between realism and video game with our audio design and making sure it comes together as beautifully as we can. So diegetic is stuff that the character experiences, and non-diegetic is things that they don't know that we only as the player know. So the musical score is non-diegetic. So the X-ray kill cam sequence is the one time that we really get to pull away from realism and let our hair down. And we just spend some really great hours kind of messing around in the Foley room, crushing up peppers, squeezing grapes to be organs, crunching a whole heart of celery to be bone breaks. And then we'll record things like aeroplanes and wind and turbulence and all those kind of things and loop them, cut them up, stretch them, re-pitch them, and that will be the sounds for when you are actually traveling on top of the bullet, give you that real kind of ride towards the enemy's face. We take from all different sources to create the audio assets for our game, some of them much more amusing than others. One that always springs to mind and makes me chuckle when I hear it, Sniper Elite 4 had lots of debris falling in the sea. I think there's a sequence at the beginning of the first level where a whole cavern or ruins drop into the ocean bit by bit. Anyway, that was a summer holiday. My younger brother basically doing dive bombs repeatedly off the diving board into a swimming pool, me leaning over the edge with a microphone and a plastic bag. He had to stay below the water level. He couldn't pop back up immediately because I needed to wait for all the water to sort of splash and ripple away from him. And then basically just cut that up and plopped it onto all of those bits of rock falling in the water. So every time you hear a splash or a splosh from a bit of debris dropping down, that's my brother doing a dive bomb into the swimming pool. So we work very closely with our series composer, Mark Rutherford. He's worked on all of the games since Sniper Elite V2. While we let him get on and just make that kind of cool sound that he creates for the music for all of the Sniper Elite games, we also have to think very closely about the technicalities of how it plays back dynamically. So the AI, the enemies, the German soldiers, the Italian soldiers are always aware of something or not aware of anything. They've either heard a bottle, they've seen Carl, they've heard some footsteps, they've found a body, they're actively engaging him in combat. All of those kind of concepts we need to send towards the music system, and that will cause the music to ebb and flow accordingly. We'll bring in various layers of the music, having broken it down into those parts, bringing in more as the action increases and letting it dissipate as Carl either kills soldiers off or just manages to escape them and you know, have everything return to normality. Happy birthday, Sniper Elite. Thank you very much, all the community, for playing the Sniper Elite games. We hope you continue to enjoy them, and I'll see you on the battlefield.
I'm Tommy, I'm a community manager for Rebellion. So Sniper Elite is the game I've worked with the most over the years as a community manager. It has been an absolute blessing. I've learned a lot about communities over the years, how important it is to get things right, and yeah, ultimately it's been a joy. I guess the most rewarding part is seeing the feedback from when a game comes out. When a brand new IP rears its beautiful head, we kind of see all kinds of wonderful reactions to the new levels, the new weapons, the new settings, that kind of thing. It's great to see how it transpires over the course of the time period it's released. Obviously there's lots of DLC that follows up with it, and yeah, hearing how well it's been received is always a real blessing. So we get a lot of community clips that kind of get fed through our Discord feed, our social pages, but I always like to see some of the ricochet shots that community members send through our way, especially when they kind of connect on multiple levels, maybe hitting a grenade, maybe getting multiple kind of entry points, that kind of thing. I always really like to see those. Also, when you get the really funny ragdoll effects when an explosion happens and seeing where they end up, that's always great. Also, seeing long shot kills, that's always really, really great to see. Obviously, from a design perspective, it's really great to see those transpire because they're kind of final product when you get something that works so well. Axis Invasion is another really great thing that people send through to us. Having people hunt down their enemies in weird and wonderful ways, getting the final kill or even evading those kills and being successful in that. But those are really wonderful to see. Well, community feedback is absolutely essential in how we progress with Sniper Elite. We obviously get it throughout the course of any Sniper Elite release, and all of that is collected with the community team and then fed back to the development team, who will then take that into account when it comes to any moving forward or any new DLC kind of projects that kind of will come into fruition. The good and the bad, we take it all into account. Everything is welcomed. I mean, we see it all the time, and it really is important because it's what you guys as a community want to see. You know, obviously we can't take everything into account, but it does help to improve the game, and every iteration that goes moving forward is a product of community feedback having been sent our way, so keep them coming. So Sniper Elite's community, they are all about authenticity. A lot of history buffs in the mix who are really kind of on point with what they want to see in terms of having the settings right, the weapons, every little nuance is taken into account, especially from the community. Other projects are a little less that way inclined. Maybe a futuristic project might not have that as a feature. So when it comes to Sniper Elite, particularly those things have to be taken into account because nothing will be missed. So when it comes to photogrammetry, when it comes to settings, dates, uniforms, that kind of thing, everything has to be taken into account because if it's not right, it'll almost certainly be spotted. On behalf of the community team and everyone here at Rebellion, I would just want to say thank you to our community who continually help support and keep playing these wonderful games that have been such a huge part of all of our lives. We're looking forward to the future.